Ladies and gents, almost Suji reaction. This is Project Wingman review. Nuclear planes. Okay, defeat the Antichrist by the channel Maxer. This game is from 2020. Okay, so I guess this is some kind of a combat simulator type of game. Airplane combat simulator. I don't know. It's by the Maxer, so of course it's gonna be fun. I don't know if this is incorrect summary type of thing. It was just, I guess it's just a review, right? Yeah. But even his review is like incorrect summary. Jokes are just epic. So let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more, which type of channels to react to more. Check out the reaction under there's a link in the description. Check out the class link cards. And yeah, let's watch it.
Project Wingman is a game which encapsulates and defines the term competitive genocide. In a world where Yellowstone National Park has had enough, humanity is plunged into a post-apocalypse where the laws of war are null and void. We play as a mute, possibly autistic psychopath hell-bent on his mission to fight the Australian Illuminati, featuring such notable species as the land battleship, the battleship, and the battle bus, across a multitude of varied and interesting locations like the apocalyptic wasteland that is Los Angeles. Caught in the middle of a conflict between the Pacific Federation and Cascadia, our protagonist is forced to put aside his fight with Jack Sparrow in Louisiana to conduct a second American Revolution and facilitate tax evasion. As a member of the Sicario mercenary group, you're given the tools of destruction you need to fight off the Antichrist, because in this universe, the UN does not solve conflict, it starts it and then escalates it. So like most problems in the world, we resort instead to base violence as a means of international dispute. Bring your jets, your guns, your bombs, and your napalms, because we're going absolute Barbarossa. Confused? Good. We live in a society where this is canonically as expensive as a Mercedes and holds 182 missiles. So if you want to see a parade of destruction, melodrama, questionable engineering choices, and King Crimson, then let me be your guide into the wonderful world of Project Wingman, humanity's first jet-centric game where California finally explodes.
Okay. I'm sure all of that is accurate.
Now, I know what you're thinking. A jet game, Max? You've gone insane. Jet games are played by dads that have 12 keyboards and people with actual money. And while it may appear to you that I have money, it's only because I spend it very responsibly. You will be happy to know that Project Wingman is neither a simulation nor has it dug into my extensive budget. I would describe the game as more about piloting a slow Gundam than the actual intricacies of real air combat. Only in Project Wingman can you do the boss fight.
Yeah, I remember in Jen's Impact, he does say that, right? I mean, for one character or something, he paid paid too much money for the game. Just spend. I mean, it's called a gacha game or something. I guess you just pay certain thing. I don't know what gacha game is, but something like microtransaction or something like that. So he sank in way too much money for that game.
Against the guy with 12 railguns and his force fields. And yes, the force fields do turn into railguns, just like real life. Most people think that jet combat is just about circling, and yeah, that's a thing. But the difference is in how it's contextualized and iterated on, which is by insane people. One mission you might be firefighting, and the next thing you know, Crimson 1 appears for the 6th time near the active volcano. How many flight games do you know include lava damage? And do you want to know the best part? The game is fully playable in VR. Please don't use a keyboard, which allows you to do some goofy shit, like physically exiting your cockpit in the middle of a battle. Okay.
Oh, the game looks already way too epic. Look at the graphics, and now in VR, that would be a trippy experience. I don't know. I mean, you would fall at least once sometimes, right? Trying to do some maneuvers.
It's a little windy, but I'm ready. Does anyone else feel lightheaded? I will say, though, that in order to get the real VR experience, you'll have to repeatedly rotate your head with the life brick strapped to it. I lasted 4 missions on average before the recoiling permanently morphed my spine. You use the radar in your plane by physically looking down, not that you'll be able to by the end. Reviewing the footage, I noticed that there were moments in the game where I just died. That's not me taking off the headset, I just gave up on life. No game will ever make you feel this old, and nothing increases the immersion more than specifically choosing planes with as little visibility as possible for the extra challenge. I beat the entire game in 2.
Is that a real plane? I mean, how the fuck I mean, is this some kind of a mod, or is that an actual plane that has this kind of a visual? How the fuck you can't see straight directly in front of you? I don't know, this might be a bomber or something, right? Where you're flying too high, it doesn't matter if you can see in front of you or not. You just have to focus on radar or something. I don't know.
as little visibility as possible for the extra challenge. I beat the entire game in 2 painful sessions, but I had never experienced anything like this ever since my house nearly burned down while playing VTOL VR.
What the fuck?
So in terms of VR, it's a must-have, because only in VR can we express the true, paralyzing fear of driving. So how do we fly our death machine? VR controls, after all, are difficult. Mr. Smart Guy over here thinks he knows how hands work. First of all, you'll need to get inside your real Project Wingman trademark plane. Turn on the main battery, whatever this is. Turn on the engines, but not too fast. Close your canopy. Clasp the shitting grip. Display. I don't know what this does. Boot Windows. Microsoft Pinball. Smash that radar button. Hit subscribe.
Wait a minute, he's doing this all in VR or something? What does this button do? Just put everything on.
Turn off the brakes. Make sure you give the joystick a good jiggle. Now, we're not going to use the carrier's catapult. We're just going to pray. You'll notice I forgot to unfold the wings, which are now detached from the plane. Wingless percent speed landing gear. You'll notice controlling an aircraft without wings is hard. That's all right. The guys on that destroyer don't have family. Now that we're in the air and in the correct game, what am I supposed to do? The answer is remarkably simple. Missiles. There's a reason you can carry several hundred of them. Missiles are fucking everything. Every specialized weapon for all your terrestrial needs are various permutations of a missile. It's actually a problem because, I mean, I guess you could use unguided bombs if you want to miss. Ace Combat at least had the gall to let me use an unguided laser, but I don't know, what else can you put on a jet? A fucking dolphin? I don't want to emulate the Wii. You also have the option of a gun, which might as well be a laser, and is the most reliable way to kill anything, including entire battleships. What is in the fucking ammo? If normal bullets worked like this, Chicago would be a nuclear wasteland by tomorrow, as opposed to the current waste.
I mean, sure, I mean, if you just hit the right place on a boat, you could make engine explode or something that would burn the ship slowly with the bullets. I don't know.
Land that it is now. Besides that, the controls are exactly what I want out of a jet game, and I don't think they can be improved. What truly makes a combat encounter in the game isn't the simple controls, it's how they're multiplied by the 6 pursuing aircraft. Unlike Ace Combat 7, your allies have the ability to minorly inconvenience each other. They will do, per mission, at least $3 of damage. So the balance between you annihilating everything and there being an actual battle is pretty good, although majorly stacked. Your success is uniquely predicated on the fact that you play as the world's first bloodless human who experiences literally no side effects from the Jupiter strength G-forces that he regularly conducts. You use your newfound power to conduct a series of engagements. 21 engagements. That's a lot of potential war crime trials, which is why we have to win. That being said, anything that we do pales in comparison to the good accomplished by nuking America. We're gonna have to play catch-up.
Yeah, seriously, when it comes to jet fighters, it's ridiculous how they stay. I mean, obviously, they come through training, but still, training can only train you so far, right? Sometimes in combat, they have to pull out maneuvers that, you know, give, I don't know, what was the number there? -8, -8.5, like 9 Gs are kind of the limit or something like that, right? I mean, if you're literally, you know, close to the limit, how the fuck they survive that? How the fuck they don't, you know, faint out just then and just crash the plane? I mean, the jet plane, people just see like, oh, look at the cool thing here and there. Look at flying the jet here and there. The dangers are ridiculous. I mean, all the fucking pressure and negative Gs, the lateral Gs, and God knows what.
Liberation will take us all across the video game against all manner of foes, including the planes, the big planes, armies of helpless soldiers with families and dogs, and the Federation fleet. Wait, who is that on my screen? Oh, I mean, matey, it's me. Oh, fuck. But what really stands out are the boss fights. Yes, the plane game with boss fights. Shinji, get in the plane. We have to fight the angels or some shit. As for their weaponry, well, it's not physically possible. In order, you fight Crimson Squadron, French woman, and her Australian babe. It's 4 p.m. Time to get in the plane. Crimson Squadron. And Crimson Squadron's very angry nuclear enthusiast. More about him later. He's a guy. You can probably tell that it's character and the dialogue that keeps the game alive. Project Wingman would be an entirely different game if you weren't constantly hearing more complaining than a fucking call center. Silence is so rare that when your ally flips his shit and demands people stop fucking talking, everyone is surprised. So just by playing the game, you get a lot of lore. So I think it's a good time to talk about that. Our story begins, like many, in Wyoming, where Yellowstone National Park does a little trolling, causing the tectonic plates to fucking rupture. In an instant, the entire modern age and Christianity in particular is ended. This, however, created a mysterious, volatile material called cordium, which effectively gave everyone free geothermal energy. and also bombs. What emerged hundreds of years later are the countries of the Pacific, Neo-Mongolia, Large Hawaii, Oceania, and Cascadia. Oceania in particular was once invaded by a cabal of mercenaries attempting to establish diamond dogs or some shit. Thank God that we had Skullface there to help us out. In fact, nearly every military engagement since then has been swayed exclusively by methed up mercenaries. To prevent further challenges to their rule, the Federation tightened its
In Metal Gear, I spent most of my time, I guess, tattooing everywhere diamond dog symbols. Like, fuck it. I'm gonna brand the shit out of this place.
power to include all of the death squads. But primarily, Cascadia was just mad that other people were allowed to use the limitless supply of energy that they had and wanted to sell it to everyone else at a ridiculous markup. This sets the scene for a war of independence which you are caught in the middle of, or rather, insert yourself into for money. Now the thing is, Cascadia is a real nation that exists in the imagination of insufferable people, so I can attest that the geography of where I live is well suited to guerrilla warfare. The entire Cascadian fleet, for instance, is one stolen ship called the Eminent Domain. The Federation, though, is not without a contingency plan. All across their empire, the Federation establishes peacekeepers, that's the real name, elite fighter squadrons of questionable sanity and engagement timing. The peacekeepers are so confident that they arrive late to every single battle that they're in. This directly causes their failure 90% of the time, by the way. The peacekeepers we encounter are the Crimson Squadron, one such group of elites so dedicated that they risked losing their entire air force, went to a volcanic suicide mission, and nuked millions of people because you owned them. Their squadron is led by the infamous and powerful Crimson One, who was elected the whitest among all Oregonians.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised there is any story to begin with, right? There is this story, but I'm surprised because every time I see a game like this, I'm like, there's probably not going to be much story. It's just some mission you have to pull it off because of to kill some enemy or something. But yeah.
Unfortunately, he's quite dedicated. Crimson One's idea of protecting his homeland under the banner of the Federation involves nuking it. Twice. It's like he's trying to make anime. He's saving his people from the pain of living. What barbarism will people slip into if we don't have the common travel passes? He's a blast to fight.
Maxor puts all this clip. I'm surprised how his channel survives. Because YouTube is very picky. In this video is from 2021 August. I don't know. YouTube sometimes very picky with certain violent scene and let's just say some grabby scene.
Unlike his friends, I wouldn't consider fighting his squadron to be the peak of gameplay. The game's bosses can be divided into two categories. Bosses that have railguns and this shit. You dodge the Crimson Squadron's missiles by rapidly turning as they approach. But Crimson Squadron themselves are always rapidly turning, sometimes at a 90-degree angle, meaning there is no nuance. While pursuing them, you are invincible. Here's how you fight Crimson Squadron. Turn towards them. Fire a missile. Miss. Fire a missile. Repeat like 10 times until they die.
Oh, and you gotta do this like 8 different times for each individual plane. I am progressively losing my mind. My name is Cleveland Brown.
All in all, dogfights and lore, that's pretty cool, but that's not why you should play the game. Project Wingman is the manic pixie dream girl of vehicle combat. Most battles feature building-sized sky ships. That was an entire boss in Ace Combat 7, and the game's just like, well, have 2 of them fight. Fuck it, you use the lasers. Everything you do has a specific melodramatic reason as part of the wider narrative, and just watching that unfold and how it affects gameplay is the real draw. I see no other way of highlighting how this works than to show you, because Project Wingman is a game that you really need to see to believe.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, this is all triple. Look at this just few seconds alone.
It's a game that you really need
to look at this. How the fuck you play this in VR and not get tripped out?
To see to believe.
Man, the graphics are really good looking, let's just say. The graphics are really fucking incredible, and playing it in VR would be some next level shit right there. All of the game looks good, I guess, for what it is, right? Just fighting in the... I mean, obviously there are some ridiculous things that he said there, right? Massive ships in and there, but it's not a simulator, come on.
Side note, the pacing of this game's missions are amazing. I liked it so much that I made a graph out of it, printed out the graph, and showed it to my neighbors.
Excuse me? Can you look at my graph?
Our first act begins with an insertion into Cascadia. There's money to be made, people to kill, and most mercenaries are still mad about the Australian incident. But it's obvious that relying on a single mute man is bad. So you're forced to watch as Los Angeles is bombed. Oh no, the horror. It's time to revise our strategy, rethink our options, bomb our own energy sources. This way, no one will get them, except Crimson One, who sees you doing this and gets mad. This will be a theme. Now it's time to steal a boat. We really need that boat, Monarch. It's imperative that you get the boat. By the way, while defending said boat, we make the discovery that cruise missiles in this universe are pigeon-guided and exhibit traits of self-preservation. Now the war is really going on. Like, really going on. It's time to target a civilian airport because it will help the war. We're denying them potential recruits. They don't even know that they're being bombed because the Federation has been able to keep the war a secret for the past few weeks. This is due to the Great Firewall, which patriotically jams all the Wi-Fi across the entire...
Like how certain people have said in the past, like, okay, you give governments way too much credits, right? When you talk about major scale conspiracies that they can hide, like, okay, there are aliens somewhere, some government agencies hiding. Are you high of all the hundreds of squad members that are, right? Whatever, team members, some fucking, I don't know, assistants here and there. Anybody. Nobody's gonna just say, holy shit, there's alien here, or leak out, right? All the things that leaks out. Nobody would leak out that there's alien in this site here, right? People say, oh, but you know, these special forces, these black suits are basically keeping checks on everything. You can't keep check on everything. If they could have, there would be no such thing as hackers in the world, right? They would have caught them way too long ago. So something getting leaked out, and once it leaks out, doesn't matter what you do. On the internet, you can't, you know, I guess you destroy the information ever, right? It's the same thing here. You know, there is a global war going, but you know, this United Nations type of organization is keeping it in down low. Really? That's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna look at, holy shit, there's war on.
Country. There is only one course of action for me when denied of my YouTube. Violence. A lot of violence. Meanwhile, off the coast of fucking Alaska, the Federation is sending transport aircraft to help in the war effort. These aircraft were intercepted, and then the interception was intercepted, progressing for 9 hours until the entire air force of the two nations are fighting in the same place. Every aircraft. And, wow, it's time to talk about that.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mission 11 is Project Wingman. The planes, the trails, the visual design, every character screaming into my ears at the same time. It is beyond perfect. An epic battle between two titans swayed only by a single mute psychopath. And that music. This track got me pregnant. I think this is a great time to talk about it because the music always fits. Whether it's low tones for a sneaky insertion or a beautiful symphony rising as you descend into battle. I played this mission without the soundtrack, you know, just to torture myself. And it's literally required. This game wouldn't be good without it, and that's a serious testament to the great work that's being done. Also, Crimson One is here.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, somebody should try that. I mean, you know, mute off the music and just play it as, you know, you just hear the, I guess, all the sounds from the battle, like realistic. I mean, in real battle, there is no music. That would be epic.
Late as usual, and you just beat his ass. Kept in a top-secret facility somewhere on the American continent, there is a woman. You have to track them down. It's for the war effort. So you raid the woman containment facility off the coast of Yellowstone, and she boards her fucking super aircraft with railguns and the turn radius of a nickel. Woman eliminated. Now, let's go down the list. Attack Hawaii for no reason. That's on the list. Attack people in a forest fire. That is definitely on the list. Save civilian lives. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's not on the list.
It's time to retake Seattle with the Federation in retreat and the war nearly won. With the Air Force in disarray, we're just one step away from... If you're surprised by this, you weren't really watching the video. Do you remember how I said...
Hello, let's save people. That is no hippie shit here. This is war. We kill people.
The Federation basically nukes all of Cascadia. That isn't actually true. It's worse. The Federation didn't just want to nuke us to win the war. They activated all of the cordium deposits in the ground. And do you remember when I said those were used for bombs? That's right. These fuckers just started a second apocalypse. In other video games, war is hell. But in Project Wingman, war is fucking orange. On our way back, we're assaulted again by the same woman. But at this point, I don't care. My retinas are damaged. The Fallout New Vegas part of the game has begun, and we're being sent to seize all of the bottle caps that we can hold. Thank you, Joshua Graham. You may notice the game is now very, very orange. That's what the entire rest of the game looks like, and yeah, it hurts. Almost immediately, we're sent back to Seattle to dab on the hordes of homeless people. This is when Crimson One returns, and this time he's very mad. He nuked his house to kill you, and that didn't even work. This leads to a dogfight, which is the dogfight for Mission 11 with additional mental illness. It's clear from the dialogue that Crimson One is not used to losing. Let's help him learn. fucking creepy, dude. Jesus. Have a fucking Snickers. With that,
Does he scream as he goes?
it's clear from the dialogue that Crimson One is not used to losing. Let's help him learn. It's fucking creepy. Dude, Jesus. Have a fucking Snickers. With that detour out of the way, it turns out that nukes didn't really help the Federation win. It just made a bunch of guys dress up like the fucking Romans. And with the UN on its last legs, there is one final stronghold for us to bomb. Los Angeles. Fucking finally. We struggle to take the city, fighting foes in the air, on the seas, and attempting to flee my bullets. But after a long and arduous fight, we stand victorious over the city as the music begins to pick up in the back. God fucking damn it. He just does it again. Project Wingman's story is not a Homeric epic. It's not very realistic, nor is it reasonable on any level, but standing over the ruins of everyone that I hate, the sunny D flashing before my eyes, I come to the realization, above all, Project Wingman is fun. None of the disparate parts of this schizophrenic game work by themselves. The combat is not Devil May Cry, the lore is not Tolkien, and we are not going to overcome our pride and prejudice. When you make a list, the game doesn't really seem that impressive, but like a chef, if we mix our ingredients well, cook at thermonuclear temperature, and add enough rat poison, we will create a spicy blend that's so out of this world, so balls to the wall, that it makes everything taste
Oh my god, that analogy is perfect. That cooking analogy is perfect. Like, just makes things so ridiculous that it's really good.
perfect. The motivation of our final boss makes no fucking sense. His arc is schizophrenia, and his obsession with you is fucking funny. I've never seen someone write a character based exclusively off of projection, but standing where I am now, there's no one I'd rather fight. He's the perfectly goofy antagonist for a game mostly comprised of clown behavior. The music, the drama, the retinal damage. This fight is as ridiculous as the rest of the game, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay.
How do you like being moved, you son of a bitch? I would like to thank my benevolent...
Yeah, okay. I guess this Project Wingman is the game that everybody thinks, you know, air combat is. So somebody bombs a city and we just go ridiculous land to, I guess, you know, kill everyone, everything. Just bang, bang, bang. Lots of missiles and lots of... Game looks incredible fun though, especially for a VR, right? It would be trippy as fuck. The visuals are so incredible that, you know, doing some maneuvers here and there, VR would be incredible. I don't know, to certain people it would be dizzying, right? I don't know if it would be dizzying to me or not. I mean, somewhat, right? Because I've never played VR, and if I start playing VR at this game, that would be ridiculous. Right, people, that was Project Wingman Review. Nuclear planes defeat the Antichrist. That's Crimson One, I guess. I like how when he goes down, there is still talking in the background. This is my channel Maxer. If you like my reaction, do like, subscribe, check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards, everything cards in. Yeah, I'll see you next time.